Well, I'm in the 240 for a good reason. We're finally starting the 240-gallon paludarium custom built by Custom Aquariums. They are one of my channel sponsors for today's video, along with Bulk Reef Supply. They were nice enough to be able to support my crazy dream of an open air 240-gallon tank, and my man, I am so excited and so lucky that they were able to help me out with this build. Obviously, this is a massive project and it can't be done in one day, so we're gonna be breaking this down into a few separate weekends. And up for today, we're doing basically all the planning for all the equipment, and we're going to be plumbing all the PVC joints. We're going to be getting in the critical equipment like our heaters, our pump, and just some other, bits and pieces here and there, like the lighting that we're putting in underneath the stand. But as you can tell, I am a little flustered, a little excited. So I think the best thing to do now is just to dive in and get it done. This is gonna be sort of a different style of a video. I'm kind of over all of the overhyped product review videos, the overly done, just super excited videos. I just wanna let you guys know, how I'm doing this, and I don't wanna explain it like I'm some pro or I'm some big influencer. This is a first time for me, and every part of this is gonna be a first time for me. So I just want you to see how I go through it, how I experience it. And I want to introduce you to Kyle. He's going to be helping us out with this.
Hi, I'm Kyle.
I always recommend to you guys, if you know a friend, or if you have a good YouTube video, or if you have someone at a fish store that knows what you're doing, ask for help. Utilize your resources. With something like this, if I just winged it on the first try, there'd probably be errors, but if I utilize my friends and people that I know that have done this for years, why not utilize them? So Kyle and I today are gonna be showing you how we're gonna be plumbing this together, how we're gonna be setting up the project down the road, and I am so excited, and thank you so much for being along this journey. Hopefully in a month we're gonna have this fully planted, cycled, and full of fish. Let's get into it. All right, and for step one for today's build, we're gonna be installing some LED light strips inside the cabinet so we can get a good idea and have it lit up, so when we're doing our plumbing, it looks really good and it's not just a dark black hole in here. Quick thing that we did off camera is we took these little clips here and drilled them into the top of our stand so we can take our LED light strips and place them in here, and the way that these lights work is they shine light down onto a surface. So in my head, I see it kind of illuminating the back wall of this stand, and I think it's just gonna make the space super colorful and bright. So anytime I'm in here doing maintenance, I'll be able to clearly see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna cut to us getting this fitted and hopefully power it on and see how it looks. Let's do it.
So start in the very back one.
Oh, I got you, okay.
Yeah. Twist this.
Those actually fit flush against the wall.
Oh, baby.
Because of the thickness of them. Oh wow, that looks professional. You just eyeballed those?
Yeah.
My man. Yeah. Yeah. My would have been like, well, we gotta measure it. Dude, and it hugs the corner perfectly. Perfect. And we can put in little screws for that the control box right there. I can't believe we're finally doing it.
It's happening.
It's happening. All right, so as you can see, the lighting is just how I imagined. This nice white flush light is just a dream for under that cabinet. With that out of the way, we're ready to start cutting up some PVC and getting our hard lines plumbed. I believe we're gonna be working with our drainage pumps first, and then we're gonna work over to our return lines. Doing the drainage is just a little bit easier because doing that, you're very limited with the space you have. So we're gonna be working from the drainage points up to the bulkheads that are up back there. So it's basically just gonna be almost like a PVC Lego piece. We're just gonna work by it piece by piece, cut it to shape, glue it, and hopefully we're gonna be able to water test this and pray to God no leaks there. So let's get to cutting.
So the first things first is to make sure that you get all your surfaces prepped and clean, which they are, and then we just prime everything, glue everything. So if anything, it might be helpful to have you kind of holding this here, because we're gonna need to go between all this stuff like fairly quickly.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I'll probably have you push it in.
Yeah.
But when you push it in, you know, it's all going to be glued, and it's already against the back, so you're just going to push it and then hold for like a good, you know, 20 seconds, and at that point it's solid and we can release and it's done.
Easy. Okay, cool. All right, so now Kyle and I are getting these PVC joints glued. The first step with this is to use that purple primer on all the parts that are going to be in contact, and then you use the clear one that is going to be that PVC cement. And Kyle and I just wanted to make sure that this line was very well secured, because it is the frontward facing line, which will connect our water reservoir to our pump chamber. So this is a awesome part of the seamless sump that I really like. It just ensures that you have stable water in there, and the lines will carry that water over. So just so I'm explaining this right, because I know you told me differently than I said, the siphon stopper means when water touches this, it triggers this to not have a back siphon.
These things are allowing water, you know, from your return to feed through.
Okay.
And when the pump stops, if these were not there, the water would gravity feed back down into your sump until it got to this level, and then it would break the siphon.
Okay, so it's basically making the level this instead of this.
Yeah, so as soon as your pump stops, these are going to start pulling air.
Okay.
And the siphon breaks.
Okay, that's perfect.
And that way you don't, in a loss of power, have half of your tank siphon back into the sump and overflow.
Okay, perfect. Well,
yeah, so you want to pull this off probably.
Okay.
For your demonstration.
We're live right now, baby.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, you're just going to be showing that this rubber grommet is on the inside of the tank.
Okay, cool. Well, as you guys heard our pro Kyle explain that, what Custom Aquariums has done for their tanks is they've made this siphon stopper, I don't know what you call that, a module or whatever, but what it does is just what Kyle said. It's a safety measure. So if for whatever reason you lose power unexpectedly, without your water draining through here, it's gonna just give it a higher point, so you don't have anything to worry about. And what we're gonna be doing is making sure this grommet is in the water side of the tank. We're gonna install it just as is, dry fit it, and then when we come to putting the PVC on there, we'll add the glue and get it secured. And that just gets hand tight, and that doesn't have to get glued or anything.
We're gonna do a very small wrench tightening on it.
Okay, so
yeah,
just a little bit of a torque.
It's more or less hand tight.
Okay.
And then just like the smallest wrench torque.
So that rubber grommet is kind of what replaces the need for tight gluing.
Correct.
Got it, got it,
And
cool.
with both.
All right, so another awesome feature of the Custom Aquariums custom built tank is their seamless sump package. You get this seamless sump down here, as well as their H2 overflow box. And as you can see here, there's two different size heights of here. So when the water's draining, it's not as loud, right, Kyle? Correct. Perfect. So, and then what this does is it just attaches right to the back, and both of the drains are gonna drain right down in here. So let's get this installed. Perfect. So now we are working on our two main drain return bulkheads that are gonna be connected to the seamless sump H2O overflow box. This box is a really cool thing. It helps quiet down your sump and allows you to easily adjust the water level in your tank. And as you can see here, Kyle was able to get back there while I was on the front holding them in place, and we just screwed them into position and made sure they were really snug. Oh God.
Yeah. You don't by chance have like a Sawzall, do you?
No. Oh yeah. We're doing our first hardware store trip of the project. I knew it always happened. Anytime you do a big project like this, it's just a matter of how many times you're gonna have to go back to the hardware store. So we're here to get a PVC cutter that can cut our big drainage pipes. So we're looking for one. All right, so we're back from the hardware store. Ace unfortunately didn't have everything we needed, but you know Home Depot has always got us covered. Cue the music. Din, 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 din. And we got Kyle, he's helping me cut our big return drains. So we're gonna cut those to size, fit them into place, and yeah, we'll just keep the camera rolling so you can kind of see the process that Kyle's got here. I'm learning this for the first time too, and I'm just very thankful that I have someone that is familiar with doing this, because
Hi, I'm Kyle.
I would not be able to sleep at night knowing that I was the one that plumbed all of this. I would just be a nervous wreck. So like I said in the beginning, if you got a pro, utilize it. That would have been a nightmare doing with a saw.
It's just a lot of cuts.
Yeah.
So now that we have our H2O overflow box securely fitted to the tank, it was now time to fit and secure all the PVC piping to give us our hard plumbing. I always liked the look of a PVC hard plumb on a sump, so thankfully Kyle was actually an expert in doing these sump installations. So here he is walking me through how we are trimming and cutting all of our PVC pipes to fit to the sump. One awesome part of doing this is we were able to put an adjustable ball valve on the main drain line so that we can make really fine-tuned adjustments to our sump so we can quiet it down, or really just have more control over it all. And just look how good that looks in there.
All right, so I just want to take a quick second to fill you guys in on a little bit of my process and what we're doing here. When you order from Custom Aquariums and you get their seamless sump package, they include pre-measured soft tubing. But for what I want in my application for this project, I ended up having to move the seamless sump into a different position than when these were originally measured out from the company. So what I decided to do is, with the help of Kyle being a master plumber and knowing how to hardline a tank, we went ahead and just went for the hardline option, because me moving the sump around would have caused these soft tubings to have some sagging areas, so when water was moving through them, you would get a lot of flushing noises because the water would build up, and then once it got too much, you would hear a big flush of water go through. So doing the hardlined option is just working for my situation and how I want my cabinet to go. But I just want to remind you guys that when you order through Custom Aquariums, you get everything you need to make it a plug-and-play system, so don't worry about hardlining anything.
All right, we are moving right along. We got everything cut and dry fit properly the way we liked it. So now we're gonna do the final part of gluing everything into place. It's kind of like a PVC Lego kit with glue, and once it's glued, it is very hard to undo. But what we did for the H2O overflow box was to remove it from the tank just so we could apply the proper pressure to fit in these PVC pipes. So you can see here, Kyle and I are holding that in and making sure those pipes are securely fitted. And then lucky Kyle, he had to get back there again to squeeze in the H2O overflow box into the two hard lines. Man, what a champ. Thank you so much, Kyle.
All right, guys, we are done with our hard plumbing drainage lines, and now we're on to the return pump lines. Basically, we're gonna be getting this Vectra M2 out of the box and getting our lines all measured out. I just wanted to show you this pump. It is a beefcake. Look at this thing. This is the first time I've ever seen a pump this big and just look this cool. I'm excited to see how much water it pushes. But yeah, if you're interested on any of the equipment that you're seeing in this build and today's video and beyond, it's all available over at Bulk Reef Supply. They have these Vectra M2s, they have the heaters, they have anything you need for any size aquarium project. And I am so thankful we're gonna be able to use these Vectra M2s on today's build.
And in goes the Ecotech Vectra M2 that will be the main return pump for our entire build.
All right, so we're now moving on to our return lines. We have our Vectra pump placed where it needs to go. And a little pro tip I wanted to share with you guys, if you ever have this soft vinyl tubing that is just super rigid and it's just not bending, all we did this morning before we started the project, I went outside and placed it in the sun, stretched it out the best I could, and put 2 heavy rocks on either end. And now you can see this really hard tubing has a lot of flexibility now, so it's gonna be easier to measure, cut, and just get it into place. I can't believe how fast this progress is going. I just told Kyle and Max that feels like every step we get through is just like a huge weight off my shoulders, and I am just getting more and more excited by the minute. So stay tuned. We're gonna get this return line pumped, and then we're gonna start filling her up and hopefully do a water test here. All right, you guys see what Kyle's doing there? It's actually a pretty smart tip. What he's doing is we have a glass of hot water, and he's dipping the soft tubing into that hot water to make it a little bit more pliable. So when we put it on the barb fitting, it's not gonna be a wrench in that thing on, it's just gonna slide right on. And then when that tubing cools, it'll actually give it a tighter seal on it. So let's look at Kyle go. We have finished with all the return plumbing, all of the drainage plumbing, and now it's on to the fun part where this turns into a real project. We're gonna go hook up the Python to the hose out back, and we're gonna see just how long it takes to fill this up with some water. We're gonna turn the pump on, get the heaters fitted, make sure there's no random little drip leaks or anything like that. Kind of just embrace it, how good it looks, drain it up, and then we'll be on to part 2 next weekend. The Olympic flag thing. I go like that.